Well, thank you for sharing all about your life with us.
Yeah. First episode. That's a lot.
So. It's a lot. It's good. It's good.
It's a lot.
It's you.
Yeah, my whole life is nuts, but mostly because I have animals that are constantly screaming at me. I'm Alexis. I'm the managing partner of the law offices of Peter Ferracuti and a 10-year practicing attorney working for workers' compensation victims and who have been injured at work or people who have been injured in car accidents or slip and falls.
How did you get involved in law? What made you pick that major?
Oof. So when I was younger, obviously, I took over the law offices of Peter Ferracuti from my father. Peter Ferracuti practiced for over 50 years and set a significant amount of the case law and workers' compensation in Illinois. I was very lucky to have learned from him and grown up following him around at the courthouse, here at the office, sitting behind him, watching him talk to clients, and watching him do what was right for people, even when it was hard or maybe not popular to do those hard things for people. I watched him do that. So I grew up fighting for justice or watching people fight for justice, and I felt very strongly about being able to continue that tradition. So I went to college at Illinois Wesleyan in Bloomington, and I started there in 2007, and I graduated in 2011. And my major, I was a double major, political science and philosophy. And then my minors were business and Spanish. And my law school, I went to New England Law in Boston, and I lived there for 3 years, from 2011 to 2014. When I graduated, loved it out there, had a wonderful time. Still am a huge Boston fan, and especially now. And then came home and took over started with the practice in 2014 after I passed the bar, and took over the practice formally in 2015, became the managing partner, and I've run it ever since.
You started managing a firm right after college. What was that like?
A nightmare. No, I mean, it was fine. Really, it was, they don't teach you. I did take a course called law firm management, right? Because I knew that I was going to need a law practice management course at some point in my life. But it really was an experience. It was a lot of stumbling blocks right in a row, trying to figure out, how to practice and handle a caseload, and also how to handle and manage employees. Hiring, firing is a whole thing in and of itself. And, handling a caseload on top of that as a new attorney is difficult because you're still trying to figure out what forms to use. Luckily, the best thing that Dad ever did for me is he made me start working here at like 13. I had a work card, and I started answering the phones, was my first job. And then I went to filing, and then I went to copying, making all the trial exhibits for trials, making sure they were tabbed, making sure they're highlighted, whatever. And then I moved from that to...
Wait a second. So your job was basically just like in Clueless when they were highlighting and tabbing.
Yeah, my life stream came true. I actually think that's why he gave me that job, because I kept asking him at home if I could highlight things after watching Clueless. So I think that's how I got that job in the first place. But I did the highlighting, the copying, and the stapling, and all the binding for all the trial exhibits. And then after that was done, he moved me to running, so I could learn all the things that had to be done, like going to the bank and how it works to put things in the bank account, and doing the deposits. Like, he taught me how to do the deposits. And then after I did that job, I went to college, and when I came home, he had me start as a work comp paralegal. So I was doing work comp paralegal things. And then he moved me to work comp billing. So I learned how to do billing and coding and records, and, confirming that we had a bill for every record and a record for every bill, because you have to have that for trial, and you have to have bills in the right format to get them paid at trial and workers' comp. So I had to learn how to read those HCFA forms. And then from there, I went to law school, and he moved me to a PI paralegal when I was in law school, and had me do that, a personal injury paralegal. So that's a car accident cases. It's really different, right, than workers' comp, because you're It's more in depth. There's no discovery in workers' comp. Discovery is where we find out everything about the other person or about the other side that they might have about the case. None of that exists in work comp. So personal injury is really in depth in that you have to write interrogatories or questions to the other side, and you have to go through those questions and vet their answers and compare them to all the exhibits they sent and all the things we have in our file. So I spent an entire summer doing that. And then when I came home, he had me do PI billing because then I could learn how to handle liens and how to repay people and looking up and reducing those liens and figuring out what they're really worth. And then after that, I had done pretty much every job except for attorney. So my last year of law school, when I came home, he had me drafting documents, writing responses, the things that you learn to do in law school, because they don't actually teach you how to be a lawyer for the most part. Like, they teach you how to do the substantive stuff, and then you just kind of wing it when you get here. My law school, I was really lucky. A lot of law schools have like no prep for coming into a law firm and actually practicing. We actually take a course our third year, our last semester. And my professor, Robert Coulthard, was the best. I loved him. I had really good professors there, by the way. My favorite professor, she is still like one of my favorite people. I still send her questions for advice. I just adore her. She's from Springfield originally and is Elizabeth Spahn. She's just like the best. But Robert Coulthard taught this class about really like practicing, how to take the bar exam, they do an entire prep for the bar exam so that everybody has a better chance of success in the bar exam rather than just having to take the bar exam prep course, which they also recommend. But you take this actual course and they teach you about what it means to practice law and what it looks like and how to go through these hypotheticals. And you go through crazy hypotheticals that people see as attorneys. And that actually is more useful, I think, in terms of how to practice than maybe some of the other courses I took during law school, because that taught me how to analyze a crazy hypothetical that I, at that point, was like, I'm never going to see that again. No, you absolutely see those things like all the time. So it taught you how to analyze and really handle things better. So that was probably the best part of that. But then I came home. That was 2014. Came home. I took the bar exam in July of 2014. Passed that. My first try, was admitted in November 6th of 2014. And as of November 6th of 2024, I've been an attorney for 10 years. And I feel old saying it, so that's fine.
What do you feel is your greatest accomplishment in these first 10 years as an attorney?
That's a tough question. Personal or otherwise, we'll throw it out there. Yeah, I think, okay, so like professionally, I think that the way that I've not only worked for my clients, the way I dedicate myself to my clients sets me apart from others. Like, there's no time of day you can't get a hold of me, really. Like, I pretty much answer all the time, and I'm able to get in touch with people pretty quickly. But I've had several really important cases, not just big cases, right? Like, important cases, things that meant something and things that changed somebody's life. And it doesn't have to be a $2 million case to change somebody's life. It can be, a $5,000 case, but that was their entire world. And while they were going through it, they were out of their apartment because they were evicted because they weren't getting paid for a month, and we had to get that fixed for them. That's why they came in. Like, I would say that being able to help people live a normal life after something like this has happened is really what is the professional highlight of my career. I mean, I've had several over $2 million verdicts. I've had several over $2 million judgments. I mean, not verdicts, not judgments. My God, settlements. Several over $2 million settlements in the last 10 years. And I don't think those things are really important. And the people that I served in those cases were really hurt. And like, being able to see them bring that emotional chapter of their life to a close was really, really important for me. But like, overall, it's not about the money, right? It's about, the reason I do this job is to make sure that people get justice regardless of what their claim is about or what it's worth. It's to make sure that they are made whole. And I think that's probably the highlight of my profession. I mean, I've done a lot of things, right? Like, I'm on the Illinois State Bar Association has a work comp committee, and I'm on that committee. And I'm also serving right now as the acting editor for our journal for that, which has been really neat. And it's a way to serve and give back to other practitioners in my area so that we can all handle things better, so we can all handle cases better and share knowledge and information. That makes us serve our clients better. So that's a really brought me a lot of joy doing that. But I think that professionally, that's the landmark is still going to be the way it feels when I know somebody's found relief and feels seen and heard and taken care of when this is over. Like, that's really the landmark of what I'm doing. Like, that's why I do it, to make sure that you get what you deserve. I'm always, I think it's fair to say that for most of my life, I have fought for people to make sure that they get what they deserve, or to make sure that they're not unjustly, set aside, discriminated against, picked on, whatever. I mean, even as a little kid, I can remember defending people. But like, I think that that's very much who I am, and that's very much my like pride and joy is doing that as an adult, as a practicing attorney. It's my pride and joy. And also professionally, it's really cool to have a staff of people who, like right now, I have a great staff, people who genuinely care about our clients and care about each other, are really supportive, and being able to cultivate that environment and keep people feeling like family in a really difficult world financially and emotionally has been really, it's been really important for me. But, personally, we've had other highlights too. I got married. My husband has been a great supporter of my life for the last 10 years. When I met him, literally the day I took the bar exam, I came home and met him, and I've been with him pretty much since. and by and I say pretty much, I put him off for a week and ignored him, and then married, and then went on a date with him a week later. So when I say pretty much, I mean like, yeah, really the whole time. And we got married last year, so that's a personal, that's a big milestone for me personally. And we have a 12-year-old in our house who I adore. So getting to see her and raise her and help her figure out how to be the best version of herself. I have nieces and nephews that I love and adore and want the world for. I mean, talking to my sister, who's been like my biggest supporter since I was 12, and who's had my back through more than probably most people would ever care to know about. But cultivating the family that we have, like outside of here and here, is a huge accomplishment and a huge important part of my life. Having the support I have here, like I have really supportive staff members. Things are not always easy, especially in the situation we're in. Personally, with our 12-year-old, it's not always an easy road. And my staff here, if I need something, is always like, they have my back. They're backing me up. They're making sure that I have everything I need to do my job as an attorney, but also to serve as a guardian, as a parent, as a role model for her. So
yeah, I think having that support is so huge. Yeah. Because of all of the different ways that you are not only carrying a whole firm by yourself, raising a 12-year-old, but also all of the other things that you are involved in with the community. Would you care to touch on your community service?
Yes, and I would be remiss if I didn't say, without my mother in the last 10 years, there's no way I would have been able to do any of this. Dad's response the first 5 years, I mean, Dad passed 8 years ago now, right? So, 8 years this year. So the first 2 years of my life, or the first 2 years of my practicing attorney, Dad's response to everything I asked him when things were like on fire was, what would you do if I was dead? And I was like, that's actually not a useful comment, and I would love it if you would give me an answer. But turns out he was right. I had to figure out how to do things on my own so that when he wasn't here, I would be confident enough to do it. So that trial by fire was really useful, because even when I still tried my way, if there's something else I could have done, he was there to tell me like, hey, try this. So that was really useful to be able to do that with him the first 2 years. But then after that, my mom has really been my source of support, like stepping up and making sure that I have everything here and help me run this place and helping me figure out like marketing and, other things that my business minor taught me how to do, but that I don't necessarily always have time to do. So to say that I'm grateful. And my assistant Barb and my paralegal Sandy, they've been with me the whole time I've been here. They've never stepped away from my side. They've supported me through it. Like truly truly had my back the entire time. So I'm incredibly grateful for them and all their support too. But yes, okay. So I do lots of other things too, because I don't know how to say no. So I also am on Aruka. I'm also on Aruka's board. Aruka is a mental health institute here in Illinois. They are based out of Princeton originally, but they just moved to Ottawa. Our full Ottawa location opens in April, I think, and we will have lots of services there, including the living room, which is maybe my favorite thing to talk about right now. So the living room is a concept that started here. It started in Princeton. Ottawa's the second living room. It is a federally funded concept that allows people to have 24-hour access to a place to go for mental health issues, drug abuse issues, whatever situation you may not be in that you're not comfortable handling by yourself. Your family needs help because, you have, maybe a son or daughter that's struggling with drug abuse. Or drug addiction. You can come in and go to the family room as a family, or to the living room as a family, talk to them, say, this is, we're really struggling to find outlets or to find resources. What can we do? And they'll help you figure out what resources are available locally, across the board, not just like mental health, but family resources. Here's therapy and counseling we offer. Here's therapy and counseling offered by 5 or 6 other places that serve different programs that may help your family better than we can. Or, here's a housing resource for that person. Here's rehabilitation facilities that we can help you find. And we're lucky to have places like Perfectly Flawed in the area that are able to help people find their way into rehabilitation centers and into sober living houses and really serve that need here. And I think it's so great. The reason I like being a part of this board is because they're finding ways to try to work with all the agencies, because that's been a major gripe of mine since I came home. I ran the tornado relief in 2017, and it was like watching all these agencies sort of fight over who was going to get the credit was really tough for me, because it wasn't about the credit, right? It's not about getting the glory. It's about helping people. So we shouldn't be talking about it's my agency who's going to take over. No, we're all going to work together because you all serve different purposes and you all have different end goals, right? Some of them only do partial recovery. Some of them do full recovery. Some of them, like Salvation Army, I sit on the Salvation Army board too. It's another great example of an organization that works with everybody. So Salvation Army has this program called Pathways of Hope, where you can come in and talk to a counselor, meet with this person every week. And they go through your finances, what you've spent. They help you learn to budget. They help you get your bills paid. They help you make sure you have a job that you're holding down. They help you stay on the right path so that you can raise a family better. They serve a lot of purposes at Salvation Army. I mean, we all know the Christmas program, right? We see the bells, we see the pot every year. But there's a lot of other programs that they offer that are really beneficial to our community that people just don't talk about because they don't really know they exist. The same thing goes for Servant's Heart, which is right across the street from them. They do the same kind of work, are able to provide different avenues of help for people when they're really struggling. So being a part of those organizations, like being on the Salvation Army board or on Aruka's board, has given me the opportunity to find ways to help people in our community and connect, really importantly, to connect groups to one another. So those groups really understand what each other do and how they can help other people as they're serving them. So, for example, the goal is for Aruka to see somebody and go, hey, I know Salvation Army has Pathways of Hope. You're coming to counseling here, but Salvation Army does have Pathways of Hope, and they can help you learn to budget. Let me set you up with them. And when they go to Pathways of Hope, the goal is for them to say, hey, I know you're having a struggle with food or getting food at this point. I'm going to send you to the Community Food Basket of Ottawa, whose board I also sit on, and they're going to help your family get food for the month. And if you need supplemental, you can come in twice a month to get food, and there's other programs that they can help you find because they also get budgeting programs and all kinds of finance programs from the state. We're able to get those programs for the U of I extension. They'll come down and do talks at the Community Food Basket on how to budget, how to cook healthy food, how to focus on your family. So there are really neat programs that all of these places are able to get, and they have all of access to different things. So knowing where those things are really is I think that's a downfall right now that we're working to address. That all these organizations I'm sitting on the board of, they're all working to address the fact that they all exist and have different purposes and can serve different programming. Maybe nobody knows what those programs are. So that's been really neat. So yeah, I sit on the Community Food Basket Board, which is our local food pantry here in Ottawa. I sit on the Aruka board. I sit on the Salvation Army board. And I'm also just recently, I was appointed to the Child Special Advocate Board, CASA, of LaSalle County. And I'm very, very grateful to be serving on that board that helps children that are in difficult positions or in home situations that are not great find foster families or, permanent care. So I'm really grateful to be advocating for kids who are struggling to find stability. Because that hits home for me for lots of reasons. So I'm really not personally. I mean, my parents were great. I'm not saying that, but it hits home for me personally in the situation we're in. So I really am enjoying. I'm really enjoying being able to work for CASA and advocate for kids and help that organization grow. We're always looking for advocates. If there's somebody who wants to be trained as a special advocate, they're always looking for advocates to go to court. You go to court or sit with the kids or the foster families and talk to them and check in with them and make sure that they're getting what they need. Even in foster care homes, making sure they're getting what they need and making sure they're being treated appropriately and they're placed well and, it's a good fit. That's a really important part of trying to help a kid find stability is making sure they're in a good fit, even in a foster home. So I'm really grateful for the opportunity to serve there too. But yeah, I think that's all the boards I'm on right now. Oh, nope, I'm also on Under His Wings. I take it back. I'm on Under His Wings board too. Under His Wings is a local ministry they serve unwed mothers and kids, moms with babies who don't have anywhere to go for a variety of reasons. They are a great organization run by really nice people who care very much and give very deeply to our community. So I'm grateful to be a part of that, helping, them serve our community, helping them help these moms find housing and stability and, a good financial backing and a way to escape a maybe otherwise really dangerous situation. So I think that's now all the things I'm on, but that's all the extracurriculars, I think.
I love that they all have the common theme of just making sure that people in your community are okay.
Yeah, that is my theme.
That's beautiful. And it also ties back in to what you do for a living, which is great. But I also want to highlight the fact while we're talking about all of the things that you're doing and how you have so much free time that you're also one of the, having said that we grew up together, right? Not very coordinated or athletic people that I know, but you
absolutely not. No.
Jumped into being a coach for your 12-year-old's cheer team. So can you talk a little bit about how you got involved in that and how that has grown over the last couple of years?
Yeah. So 2 years ago now, they asked me to sub in for one game because the coach was going to be gone. So she asked me to sub in and coach. And I did not cheer. I am not athletic. I don't know how to tumble. I can't do a cartwheel, friends. But they asked me to sub in and coach, and I was like, sure, So I did it. And the kids and I really bonded pretty quickly. And I asked to stay on after the first game. My 12-year-old was not mortified by me being there, which is really 80% of the battle, right? So she was like, no, I really liked having you as my coach. It was nice. So then obviously I did again because if you have a preteen, they're not always super pumped about your existence. So she was 10 and super pumped about my existence. So I was like, yes, I will obviously continue to do that for you. So I did. I jumped in and started doing that. So the first year we started, they were wearing the school. We had so many girls. There were 25 girls. They never had a junior high cheer squad that big, right? So the girls were in t-shirts and mismatching skirts. So adults, surprisingly, from other schools. And they started kind of making comments, especially there's commentary on Facebook about how the girls were mismatching and looked terrible. And I remember at that moment becoming very dedicated. I was like, I'm going to learn everything I can about cheerleading. I'm going to raise all the money I can for donations for uniforms or for cheer camp, which is what it ended up being. And then I am going to make sure my girls shine in such a way that they never feel the way they felt when they saw those comments ever again. Because my girls saw those comments and came in very defeated. So I raised money. The school was great. They bought them all new uniforms. We bought extra, so we have plenty if there's a big squad again. They bought us brand new uniforms. They're beautiful. We got those this last year. And I took a cheer coach camp online because in my infinite spare time on a Saturday night, I stayed up from like 6 o'clock at night till like 3 a.m, I think, taking this thing online because it was a 9-hour course and you could take it over the course of days. And I was like, no, we're going to do it all at once. And then I'm going to reference the manual. So I did. I took this course and learned a lot of things. I mean, you have to take concussion protocol and things anyway to coach for the IESA. You have to take certain classes. So I took those too. But I took this cheer coaching course because I thought I don't know anything about designing a routine or pyramids or tumbling or stunts. Like I don't know any of that. So I have to learn somehow. So I did take this course and was able to learn some things. And then we were able to raise money. And then we did a cheer camp in June of last year or July, I can't remember. And it was great. We did Super CDA out of the city, came down and we did this really neat cheer camp for all the girls. Kind of, it was awesome. Anyway, yeah, they did it fed all of my childhood, bring it on love. Except my girls are not mean. Like all of my girls are so sweet. Like I have a really good squad of kids. Like I'm kind of obsessed with how awesome they are because they really are. Like I'm very protective. Like it took almost no time for me to be very protective of them. I like seeing each one of them what I think I like about coaching. First of all, they're super dedicated. Once we did the cheer camp and they saw how dedicated I was into it at that point, they all it was a whole new level. Like they were trying harder, they were doing different things. And when I looked at them and said, hey, I wouldn't ask you to do this if I didn't think you were capable, they started to believe me. And then they started doing it. So when we first started 2 years ago, they were doing basic, very low pyramids, waist height pyramids. And even that was a scary moment. And then after cheer camp, they learned to do some higher pyramids at cheer camp and some higher stunts, like a high lift, some other things. They started to do some other things from cheer camp that were kind of cool. They learned to balance in a high lift and things that we hadn't done yet. And we worked on tumbling in cheer camp, which was really great because obviously I can't do that at all. So even teaching it, I'm like, I don't know. Put your head down, I guess. I don't know. So learning when to farm things out and find other help has been a really important part. So one of the girls, her mom has tumbled, so she was willing to come in. So she came in and helped with tumbling this last year. So she did tumbling classes basically in the middle of our cheer year to teach them how to do, back walkovers or front walkovers or bridges or round offs. Those are all things that the girls got to work on this last year as a part of their school free activity, which is really neat because normally to learn those things, you have to go to a gymnastics class. And obviously not every kid's parents can afford a gymnastics class, especially not in this economy when eggs are $9 a dozen, right? So that's a whole part of what we were able to offer this year is we were able to offer gymnastics tumbling at the good graces of a good friend of mine who I begged to come in and do that and who I'll probably owe her coffee for life for the 5 a.m. practices that I made her come to. But my favorite part of coaching is the fact that as soon as each girl has different personality, right? Obviously every person is different, but each girl has very different personalities on my squad. I have one of Sophie's best friends is she is the most positive kid I've ever met. There is nothing you can say. That child will hype you up. It could be the worst thing you've ever done. And she'll be like, that was great. You can do it. I have your back. Let's do it again. I got you. I'm going to stand right next to you. But she's hard on herself. She's like that for others, but she's super hard on herself. So this year was about building confidence in her. So she felt more confident in herself. And the same thing, with other girls, there were other girls who had who were hard on themselves and then would shut down. So we worked on what does it mean when we're having a hard moment? How do we handle that hard moment? And what does that inspire in us? Do we shut down and just stop or does it inspire us to find a new way to move through that hard moment? My favorite thing, one of our best friends says this all the time. You can do the hard things. Stephanie, that's Stephanie's motto. Stephanie's been since I was 5, she's been my best friend. And her motto is you can do the hard things. So that's my, like, I stole that from her a long time ago. And I kept saying that to the girls throughout the course of us, learning this last year, how to do things in cheer. You can do the hard things. You just have to figure out how you're going to do them. And we have to figure out a plan and a purpose. And if it's something we really want, because as long as you have a plan and a purpose, and if it's something you really want, it's your goal, it's your, whatever, it's your purpose. That's what your choice is. You'll be able to figure everything out, but you have to be driven for it. So we were talking about, even when things are hard or maybe they're not our favorite thing to do, how do we find purpose in that? And we talked about that a lot this last year. So it was really neat to watch the girls from the first game of the season. The first game we did it was a cute Halloween dance. Don't get me wrong. It was a super cute dance. And they were really coordinated. They were really together. I was very proud. But watching their first dance to the end of the season, they did this Dolly Parton dance. We did the Pitbull Dolly Parton 9 to 5. Women Worldwide or something is what it's called. I don't know. I can't remember what it's called. The girls know it by heart and literally request it 24/7, even in my car, because they're all friends. So I constantly am with them, and they'll request that I play it in the car so they can do the dance in the backseat. But they, this dance is really hard, and it had a lot of really hard stunts, including a one leg lift, high lift in the air with a high extension, and they twirl them while they're in that extension. And those are really hard stunts for girls who 2 years ago were doing a low pyramid, right? These are hard stunts to be moving into, and there's a lot of falls, right? My favorite thing, one of the girls said it on a radio interview. They said, "How did you learn to do these?" And she goes, "My coach said hard stunts mean hard falls, and you have to get through it." And I was like, "That's not the way I would have said it on the radio, but it's true. Hard stunts." It is. Hard stunts mean hard falls, right? When things are hard, when things are difficult, but you want to do them, you're going to have hard falls along the way, and you're going to have to figure out your way out of those hard falls and the confidence to go back and do it again. Because that's the biggest thing for me in cheer, watching these girls, the biggest thing is the confidence, right? It is the confidence after you've been dropped to get thrown back up. That's a very scary thing. It's like they say, get back on the horse, whatever. No, that's an extremely hard thing to do. So trying to help them figure out how to get back up when they're metaphorically and really down on the floor has been a huge part of this last season. But it was really rewarding. They were able to do it, and the look on their faces, and you were there, so I sobbed. It's fine. So it's I don't do that in public, so I was really mad that I was crying in public. It's only sometimes, and only around you and Addison. But anyway, I sob every time Alyssa's daughter always has been the light of my life. So when she does things, I sob every time she does something. Every play she's ever been in, every time she sings, I cried at freaking Dairy Queen once, or not Dairy Queen, Culver's once, because she was singing. I mean, I don't know. I'm an obsessed aunt. She's cool. I can't help it. So anyway, she's really cool. It's hard not to be cool, not to think she's the best. Same with Sophie. Every time Sophie does anything, I'm like Sophie's been working so hard to get straight A's. She came home and was like, I did that. You haven't checked my homework. You haven't looked at it. You haven't made sure I did anything. And I did that. And I was like, I am so proud of you. And then I went upstairs and sobbed. I was like, I'm so proud of the work that you're doing to be the best version of yourself. And that was the theme of cheer. And for me, what I did originally, just because my kid really kind of liked me and wanted me to do it, was now has turned into, I have the opportunity to help all of these girls know not only that they are unconditionally supported, not just by their parents, but by their coach. They can come to me with anything, and they do. They text me, literally, they text me goodnight sometimes. I have 4 girls in my squad that still cheer has not been in 3 months, and they text me just be like, "Coach, I miss you. I love you." They're the best. I can't stand it. So anyway, it's been the joy of my life to help them. I became very dedicated very quickly to making sure that they had everything they wanted and could do everything they wanted. So we're doing cheer camp again this year, and I have a day blocked off of work. I don't take vacations anymore now. I just take days. I take my days off of work for a vacation to go do cheer stuff. But you know what? Being able to spend the day with them and watching them do the hard things is a really incredible moment. When they landed that spin, I'll never forget. They landed the spin at Pack the Place night. Both of them at the exact same time, perfectly coordinated, landed a one-leg spin, and my little one in the middle landed being thrown up and caught. I remember all three of their faces lit up. And when they came off the court, that entire squad came together and hugged. Everybody was just so happy. They went into a pile up and like hugged, and they were like crying and so pumped because they had worked so hard for it. So like seeing them work hard and then see those results and here, like the gym went wild for him, like wild for him. Like people were like screaming when they were doing stunts. Like it was crazy. Like it was the coolest thing I've ever gotten to watch. Like it really was like one of the coolest moments of my life to watch them thrive like that. And like my kid was so pumped because she was the one, she was a main base, and she was the one holding her best friend in the air. She was holding her best friend in the air, and she was the one holding like all of her weight. And like, not that her best friend weighs like anything. She doesn't. She's a little tiny thing, but she's still, for a 12-year-old to be holding another 12-year-old in the air by herself is pretty neat. You know, it's pretty impressive. Yeah, right. And that was, she walked off that court and said, I'm strong. Like I remember in a time where girls, like that time of your life is really body negative. Like it just is. And she walked off that court and was like, I'm strong. And I was like, yes, yes, you are. Like we love that. So yeah, no, it's been super cool. And Jeremiah's coaches golf and softball for them. So like they pretty much get hit with coaching by our little family, like, you know, 3/4 of the year. 3/4 of the year, there's like two, you know, one season of things we don't coach. So they're with our family a lot on the golf kids, and like all those kids adore him, look up to him, and like want to spend time with him and want his advice. And like he's very patient, and watching him coach them helped me figure out how to coach the girls because he's very patient and very instructive, but also very supportive. And if they need a minute, like he knows exactly what to say to give them that minute so they can reframe and get back out there, because golf is such an in your head game. You have to be in the right mindset. So watching him coach not only the boys team, but like the girls team that Sophie's on, watching him coach her through those hard moments where you hit the ball and it went, you know, 3 feet and it needed to go 100. Watching him coach her through those really hard moments was a like really integral part of trying to figure out how to do that with the cheer girls. So it's been cool.
So my main question after all of this is you and Jeremiah both, right? You're able to support all these kids. And again, your boards, your work.
Yeah.
All
does
of these
working on the side for people. He's constantly doing things for friends. Yeah.
Yeah. All these things that you're doing for everybody else.
Yeah.
What do you do for yourself? How do you recharge? How do you care for yourself?
Those things. Doing for others helps me recharge. Knowing that I'm helping somebody else helps me recharge and figure things out. I mean, I'm in a sweatshirt. I mean, you can see that normally on my like off days where I don't have court, like I'm a very normal human. Like I don't do anything really crazy. I get my eyebrows done sometimes because you have to when you're Scottish English and had a grandpa with a unibrow. You got to do that. But other than that, you know, I don't know, being with my family, you know, spending time with like you and Adam and Ad and our best friends, Tony and Mac and the kids and Andrew and Lauren and Jay and Sophie. Jay and Sophie are my like ultimate, like that's how I calm down. We go home at night. We do family dinner every night. And depending on how cranky we are after family dinner, it may extend into family game or TV. It depends on how cranky the 12-year-old is about chores. But other than that, it's, you know, that family time is what sustains me, I think. Yeah, sure. So we are, Jay and I, in the course of our relationship, have had several children live in our house that we've, you know, helped take care of or helped raise. The first was Sydney, our niece. And then she and her daughter moved in for a little bit. So we'd have for a little bit too, my godchild, my sweet little baby. And then Sydney had another baby, but he didn't live with us. Adler is just the light of my life because he's hysterical and sends me cute videos every day. But my home life is really based around them, right? Around Jeremiah and around Sophie and around our farm. So we do live on a farm with 3 goats. Their names are Hank, Steve, and Dale. And we only named one of them for the record. Steve and Dale were from Fairbury, from my cousins. Hank was already our goat. It just works out that they sound like King of the Hill characters with the way they're named. And then we have 3 sheep. That's Tigger, like Winnie the Pooh Tigger. And then I named the other 2 Hershey. I call him Hershey though, because I think it's funny. And then Oreo. And then we have 3 mini donkeys, and their names are Snowflake, Midnight, and Independence. We call her Indie Girl. But all 3 of those were named before we got them. And then we have 40 chickens and a rooster. No, well, we are, because they're a little older. We got to get new ones. So I'm gonna be feeling the having baby chicks with pasty butt crisis in a minute. But they get raised in Sophie's bathtub, so she's about to feel that you have to shower in the downstairs bathroom crisis. Because when they're that little, you got to keep them hot and contained, and putting them outside when it's this cold, I can't do that. Even with heat lamps, I wouldn't be able to keep them warm enough. So they live in her until they're feathered enough to go out to the other, outdoor brooder. And anyway, so that's fun because the dog tries to eat them pretty much consistently. So that's like a nightmare too. So we have the 3 mini donkeys, we have the chickens, we have a rooster named Tyrone, we have turkey named Tom. And then we have 2 cats named Boo and Bear. And then they're both black cats. They're very sweet. I love them. And we got them on Halloween. I love them. And then we have 3 dogs. Our oldest is 15. His name is Dozer. He's a Shiba. Then we have Ginger, who is 4, and she's a Shiba. And then we have Craven, who is a terrorist, and he's 1. Not 1. He's 8 months. And he is a Belgian Malinois and Dutch Shepherd mix, which just means he doesn't ever slow down, including he just had surgery and still has not slowed down at all. Like, had to be put on trazodone because he's way too nuts for what he's supposed to be doing. So we have a full house, and then the 12-year-old, at the same night we found out he had to have surgery, my 12-year-old went ice skating because she found, and I quote, the perfect patch of ice. And she had to do it because she's a professional ice skater. This child has never worn ice skates in her life. Just so we're all clear, she wore her tennis shoes and went ice skating outside and broke her growth plate, bottom of her growth plate. So she is in a boot. So our entire house is crippled. The 15-year-old dog has an ACL that's torn. That he's walking kind of slow. The 8-month-old just had surgery and has stitches, and Sophie's in a boot. So it's been a wild ride for the last couple of months. But yeah, no, I am very grateful for everything that we've been blessed with, for the family that we built, which includes, my people, my sister and my niece and our best friends and their kids, being able to spend, like we took them all to Monster Jam last weekend, being able to go to Monster Jam with all of them and like watch them see the monster trucks and like watch the little one get super pumped about the monster trucks. Like, best thing. It was the best thing. Being able to create those memories with people we love is the highlight of what Jeremiah and I try to build in our house. So it's been very rewarding to have worked very hard for peace and family and to have it now. It's been very rewarding. So
it's been great.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for forcing me to do a podcast.
We'll have more.
Yeah.
We'll focus future talks on specific subjects, but this was just to get to know who you are as a human, which I love listening to. I could do it all day.
Living every second of it with me. Literally every second of it with me.
Yeah, I just get so proud of you. You do all the things. I love it.
Okay, well, don't make me emotional on the podcast, but also I love you too. Thanks.
Okay, bye.